Welcome to J Media. We make tutorials, guides and tech videos. Please like, subscribe and follow for more.
Hello guys, welcome to this new video. In this video we are going to be going to the B part of introduction to Adobe Photoshop. Now in the last video we looked at the basics of Photoshop and the basic tools that we'll use to work in Photoshop. So today we are going to be looking at creating simple illustrations in Photoshop. Now these illustrations are going to be mostly for our backgrounds for animation. So let's go to my screen. So here in Photoshop we have the welcome screen. So I'm just going to go to create new. On Photoshop you already have some presets here. I usually prefer to work with the film and video and HDTV 1080p. So I'll just click on OK. Let me rename it. So let me name it background illustration. So just as we saw in the physical class we had today, we saw that you can do a lot of work using just your lasso tool and your fill and your paint bucket tool, that's to fill colors. So the illustrations I'm going to do today, despite the fact that I am using a graphic tablet, but I'll try to stick to those same tools so that you'll see how capable those tools are. So back to Photoshop, we have a blank page, so I'll prefer to just create a new layer. So on this new layer, the first thing I would like to do is to fill in my base color. So I'll just come right here. Okay, I think I like this color. So with my paint bucket tool selected, I click. So now I have a base color to start with. As I mentioned in class today, and okay, if you are seeing this video for the first time and you are not in class, just know that for everything you do in Photoshop, always create a new layer for it. So in this place I will create a new layer. So this illustration, I want to have like some mountains here, a sunset, and then maybe a body of water in front. So I'll just come over here. I'll be using the lasso tool, not polygonal lasso this time. In class today we demonstrated with polygonal lasso. That's pretty easy to use once you're using your trackpad. But since I'm using a tablet, I have more flexibility to work with the lasso tool. So let me try and now draw in my mountains. Okay, so I have drawn the mountain. I've not filled yet with color, so I want to get a straight line here. So let me use the polygonal lasso to do that. Okay, so now let me look for a color that suits what I have in mind already. Okay, I have this down. Now if you have observed landscapes, I will encourage you as an animator or an illustrator that if you want to do really nice things in animation, you need to be very observant of other people's work. So if you observe mountains, normally they're not just blocks like this. At times you still have some in the background faded a bit. So I'll just create a new layer here, and then I'll draw some distant mountains. So I would look for a light color, really lighter color, and fill with that. After filling in this place, when you have opacity, you can always increase or reduce the opacity. Opacity has to do with how transparent the color is. So when I reduce the opacity, it makes that color more transparent. I can still create another layer behind that to create more distant mountains. Okay, let me look for a more light color. Let me fill. And for this one, I'll drop down the opacity even more. So as you can see now, you see it looking like these mountains are in front of each other and then they're faded into the background. Okay, so I want to have a sunset here. So let me click on the background layer because I want the sunset to be behind this mountain. So in your layer structure, you also need to check what comes before which. So I want my sunset to be just directly in front of the background layer, not in front of the mountains. So I'll create a new layer while I have the background layer here selected. So new layer, I'll just use the circle, the circular selection tool. Okay, let me just put a sun. Okay, once I have what I want, I'll leave it. So let me fill that with a white. So I'll keep adjusting till I get what I want. Okay, now I can always pick the eraser tool. You can pick the eraser tool and clean off areas I don't want. So this is one of the advantages of using the graphic tablet. You have a lot more flexibility to manipulate some things. So once I have that, let me start working on the water. I can come here now and let me try and reproduce this on something. Okay. And for this one, I'll drop down the opacity really well. And even the mountains, we need a reflection for the mountains. Now always note that whenever you have reflections in water, they are slightly distorted when compared to the main. Okay, so let me fill with this color. Let's see. So when I fill, I'll use opacity to increase the transparency of that layer. Okay. So basically, I am almost done with this. This is what I'm going for. Okay, but I think what next I want to do, I want to have some kind of waves on this water. What I'll do, since I'm using a tablet, I'll just create a new layer, pick up the brush tool, and pick a small size. Then I can now start drawing across. So I'm just trying to create what the waves here would look like. Okay, so this seems quite okay. What I may want to put more is just maybe a few birds moving around, and after that I'm done. So if you notice, whenever I bring up this color picker, if I click out, it will pick color from whatever I click on. So I'm clicking on this and then lightening it a bit. So let me see. let me see what I can do in terms of creating the beds now. And if you observe, you see that every single thing I'm doing, I'm putting it on its own layer, so that subsequently I could always come and make changes as I keep working. Now this doesn't really look like birds, but for now this is what I'll work with. So let me just drop down the opacity a little, let it blend in with this more. Okay, so with that I'm done with this illustration. So to get this illustration out as a JPEG file, I'll come over to File, I'll go to Save As, and where you have Photoshop documents, I click on that, then click on JPEG, then browse to the location where you want to save the file. In my case, I'll save on the desktop. So background illustration desktop, then I click Save. Okay, so the file is saved now. Let me get to my desktop to find the document. Yes, so here we are. Okay, no, this is what we did in class. Let me look for, yes, this is it here. Okay, so but there's no rule that you stop here. You could still keep building your illustration more, adding in a lot more detail. That still works better. Okay, so this was a short one. I really hope that this tutorial has made it easy to grasp what was learned in class today. So please like and subscribe to the channel and put your questions in the comments so that we could improve and create more content. Thank you.
Welcome to J Media. We make tutorials, guides and tech videos. Please like, subscribe and follow for more.